Right, so first print after a rough scrape. It's heavy there, or it's printed there, there, note through the middle. Obviously there, and there. So we're not flat by a long way, and I'm wondering, it could be just distortion in the casting. It's not, doesn't look like a wear pattern, but anyway, I'll take those down until we start getting some kind of reasonable flat print. It ain't easy. There must be a better way of doing it for lifting it up and putting it down, but I'll have to have a think about that one. And I'll bring you back when we've made some progress. Had a couple of hours and it's starting to show a bit more of a print. So this was the wear area. This is the top. It's pivoting on this corner and that corner. Probably there. Looking better though. Well, looking flatter. Now in fairness, I'm pretty knackered after scraping that lot. It's heavy there, but I think that's more ink distribution on the stone. I'll do a bit more breaking it up. That area is what, half an inch deep by 5-6 inches long. So I'm going to remove the start breaking it up and taking off the centres of the high spots, the silvery bits and grey bits on there. It's pivoting around there and around there, so I'm happy that it's a flat plane. Prior to this inking, I've put on the straight edge and got the same, basically pivoting a third in from each end, which I'm reasonably happy with. So that's just scraped both directions after the last inking. I've not deburred it or swept it off because that just removes what bit of ink is left on there, and that tells a different story. In theory, the ink should be in the lower spots now, having scraped off the high shiny points, or the majority of them. We shall see after next inking. It's a bit snug on the plate. I think there's 10mm more plate than casting, so I'm moving it that way, which has the added advantage of not rocking it. Right, I've just got to lift it off now. So there we go. I think it's fairly safe to say that's a shitload better than it started. I mean, yes, it's still got a little light bit there, but put a scale next to that. What you got there? 10mm by 150mm. More importantly, you've got a good contact area above it. So if you look at the piece that mates against it, it's all of that inclined to say that's a job done. I might give it one more pass over just to break it up, particularly along this edge. And then what I've realised is, in order to get the contact on this, the only way I can see a printing, not that, because that's got the gib on it, but that area, is to actually print it on the part. So that will be hung over and then ink transferred. So I want to get this reasonably alright. Don't want to be sliding the other part foot either way just to get ink transferred over. But in terms of coverage, that's fine, I think. Job's a good one. I messed up the last inking, so I've just redone it so there's slightly less ink on than I would normally put on. You can see where we're at. So I'm pretty happy. I'll call that done. I'm going to drop a T-square, but I'll do it now. Well, I would if we could get it out of the drawer. Come out, you swine. Got some of these. Come on, focus, you swine. Oh, I can't see because I need parallax. Possibly wants a little bit of adjustment on this now. Just about to see a bit of daylight when I bring it down. So that's a lot easier to bring that into than that, which ironically was where that edge started, being slightly out on the low on the near side. Right, enough cocking about. I'll call it a day for today and have a think about the next bit. Cleaned the stone off, cleaned up the faces, sat on the face, and I'm now measuring the boxway thickness against the face which the gib will ride on. Got a tenth indicator, so each small division is a tenth of a thousandth. Taking the middle point, 0, and sweeping it. It drops away, and then we've got a thou and a half, and then at the back it's thicker in that section than that section, and boring me with all the measurements. The long and the short of it is it's thicker at that end than that end, and both ends are less worn than that section. So we're going to scrape it back to parallel, which then gives us a problem of how the hell do we get a print on that face. So I've pulled out that little parallel. I've had it hanging all night because it seemed to be slightly bellied yesterday, so it's obviously not as stable as that one. So I'm going to check it again, and hopefully I haven't got to do anything to make any adjustments to it. But it's a very nice snug fit in there. It's not. It could have done with being a bit longer, but it's perfectly adequate for what it's doing. It's virtually twice the width of the twice the length of the gib, near enough. So yeah. So that's the next job, is to verify that that's actually going to give us a reasonable print. So I'm going to shift that back onto its scraping position, ink the stone again and then start checking the parallel. Yeah, and it's damp out, so quite happy to be in the workshop. One lesson I have learnt is when you're using a straight edge or a plate shorter than the length of the piece you're trying to make flat, everything gets more complicated. It's taken me all day to do that one surface using that shorter straight edge. It's about 6 inches shorter than it needs to be. Anyway, grumble over. Wants a little bit of refining, but they're damn near there now. Again, I'm not working on 20 dots per inch, 20 points per inch. I don't see that it's in need, so somewhere between 10 and 15, which is probably not far off where it's at now. I'll do a bit of refining, so give it a couple of cycles of 1/4 inch strokes each direction, and that should give me a reasonable break up. It's not the ideal ergonomics, because to get at it I'm having to bend over at 90 degrees. It really wants to be kilted up at an angle to get at it. Anyway, I'm happy to call that done. I thought I'd check the thickness with the digital mic. We started out at 9938, we're at 9924. So the ones on there are the original figures. Here's what we got. So we got 992 is a new dimension. We've got a variation of 8/10, that being the thickest point, that being the thinnest point. But without clamping gauge blocks either side and doing it, it could just be that that's sat in a groove. But we've got you're talking what, 9924, 9920, 9922, 9924, 9928. I mean, given that it's a working bearing and there's going to be about 1 thou clearance, I think that's perfectly acceptable. Yeah, bank holiday Monday. I could think of better ways to spend the day. Anyway, that's that bit done. While we've got it cleaned up and ready, I've just run the gauge across to measure the width, and I've still got plus 1 thou. It's come down a bit from where it was. So I have, the decision is whether to take it off this face or this face. My preference is that because it's easier to get to, but before I do that I actually want to check how this sits on the column. So I think I'm going to leave that till tomorrow. I'll clean up the parts, fit the dovetail on, fit the gib. I'll have to stick it on a block or something to hold it in position, and then see how that sits in terms of being square to the column, and then bear that in mind for any adjustment to that. Tolerance is 1 thou per foot basically. So we're only 1 thou over 2 foot, so it's that's the width variation, not the obviously the squareness. I mumble on, I'm tired, I need something to eat.